I just have a question for the House Republicans and House Democrats and the Senate Republicans and Senate Democrats. Why have none of you demanded that the tech giants, most, notably, the biggest ones, Microsoft, Google, there's a whole bunch of them, that have been stealing our data, compensate us for that? And why haven't you also been making the university hospitals that have genome labs that are stealing our data as well, that collusion they're doing with tech? Why haven't any of you on any side of the aisle said the American people should be compensated because we stole their DNA? Could you think about the amount the government has stolen from people over the years? I mean, I'm not just saying in America, but in general with governments. But this goes beyond that. You've stolen our DNA. You've stolen the most precious part of us, really, because it's God that created that. And you thought you and your university hospitals and you and your tech companies that you've all invested in had a right to that. So you know what ends up ultimately in the end? You know what will take your freedoms? Because even with as disgusting as tech and the university hospitals are on the moral level, you could still have freedom in a society, but you know what how you will lose it is because of the absolute moral depravity of your government. And that's both parties. Big tech companies collect your data, including in some cases genetic data, primarily to build detailed profiles of you for targeted advertising. So if they can target advertising for you, and they'll say it's to make your experience on our platform more tailored to your wishes, right? So if you have that much data on us, they can target you in other ways as well. They monetize this information by selling access to targeted customer segments or sharing anonymized data with third parties such as advertisers, pharmaceutical firms, and insurers. The problem is as I said in my last video, it's not anonymous, because they can figure out who you are. They can figure out, if your grandfather sends saliva into 23andMe, they'll know who everybody he's related to. They'll know all his family members. That's why the moral decay of the moral bankruptcy is how you lose the freedoms, especially when the moral decay is at great levels in the House and the Senate, and it doesn't matter which party, they're both responsible. While these companies often claim the goal is to improve products or advance research, the reality is that data collection is a core part of their profit model, and in some cases, the data can also be used for surveillance, risk profiling, or even political targeting. The collection and commodification of personal and genetic data is not just about innovation. It's about power, control, and profit in a largely unregulated data economy. No, it's not unregulated. It doesn't matter. It's not. The regulation doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to say. Because look at what's happened because of science over the years. They've regulated science. Science still built their genome labs, didn't they? Because these bastards have a slew of lawyers that will go in and they will fight all this. The only way you can stop it is you have got to, that corporations can no longer be seen as a personhood. Because then they will know they are at risk. Unfortunately, the regulation gets created by the corporations. It gets created by tech. It gets created by the science. So it protects them. And you're made to believe that those people in Washington regulated these police people and it's to protect you. That clearly hasn't taken place. Okay, because think of all of the unethical experiments in the history of science just in America have happened. And yet, after every single time that it's come out what they've done, regulation was put in place, and what did they do? They went on to do it again. That is the reason why healthcare has colluded so heavily with big tech. Both very unethical, at least at the executive and corporate levels, completely no morals whatsoever. So then they are the people that go to Congress and say, this is the way we want you to regulate us. Or what they do is they get the associations of medicine or nursing, whether it's psychiatry or it's, ortho or it's, pediatrics, doesn't matter. They'll get that association to do the bidding for corporate, the same way American Nurses Association does the bidding for corporate, and then that all serves the government, tech, and corporate. You see how you're getting screwed from every single angle? So if there's anybody there in Washington, D.C. that actually does stand for the people, because I don't see who they are. Where are they? I don't see who any of you are. I see there's some Republicans there that decided to invest in tech, okay? So that tells me all I need to know about your morally bankrupt ass. And then all of you Democrats have invested in tech. So you've all wanted the police state. Tech companies store and analyze large DNA data sets supporting industries from healthcare to retail with computing power and analytics. As commercial DNA databases expand, genetic data also presents the opportunity to become part of this lucrative market, turning each individual's DNA that is shared with a company into a valuable asset that can potentially be monetized. By combining genomics data with other healthcare, pharmaceutical, insurers, consumer and behavioral data, companies may increasingly use genetic data for marketing campaigns and for targeting people. I mean, this is also a way that an insurance company can say, yeah, Northwestern or whatever it wants to call itself, you have that big genome lab there. Can you let me know about this person? I don't know if we want to insure them. The moral decay is disgusting. It's disgusting. Many companies have already moved into the genomics economy, including big names such as Google, Virgin, and Blackstone. In 2021, Virgin Group's VG Acquisition Corp finalized a deal to get 23andMe to go public via a merger. Yeah, and so then that's why there was that hearing that was done, but it's always after the fact. Companies that work directly with data, including Google and Amazon, have also developed cloud services to work with genetic information. Can you imagine Jeff Bezos' old company? Actually, do you even want any of them? Like most of these people, I wouldn't even want them near my person, let alone my DNA. Hosting data on cloud services can support a number of commercial industries along the value chain, providing computing power to store and share data, and analytical platforms designed to, for example, uncover novel drug targets for pharmaceutical companies. Well, that's always what we hear. We always hear the innovation, what it's going to do for you, what the science is going to do for you. Oh, we're going to get this, cure, and we're going to do this and that. All the while, you just take more and more away from us. But now you haven't just taken more away from us. You've let them digitally rape us. You've let them rape us financially, and you've let them rape us digitally and steal our DNA. And you expect anybody in this country to ever trust either of you parties again? No chance in hell.